On this episode of The Wildlife, I'm pit against a unique set of challenges. This is unbelievable. It's such a narrow boat, it feels like I'm constantly gonna tip. Okay. My next set of coordinates are gonna take me 30 miles that way. Every checkpoint attained on this challenge raises money for Friends of TRYON Creek. All of this for the program. It is gonna be high adventure. And it's all happening right now on The Wildlife. This is single-handedly the most extreme thing I have ever done in my life. And this is the view from the top of Monkeyfish. The most prehistoric fish that we can even think of right now. That is one big dungeness crab. All over the place. So all I can do is just hang on. This is The Wildlife.
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.
I've been given my first coordinate and told that my starting point for this adventure will be at the docks at Oaks Park, and that my first form of transportation will be waiting for me there. And it should be just around the corner. There it is. And this is my transportation. This is a scull boat. I've actually never done this before. Looks a little more like a water ski than a boat. I'm going to utilize this scull boat to travel towards my first set of coordinates, which is approximately 1 mile north at the tip of Ross Island. These coordinates mark the location of my first checkpoint. Today, every checkpoint I reach raises money for Friends of TRYON Creek. All right. Here we go. I'm eager to get this first leg of the geocache underway, but the instability of this scull boat is causing some hesitation. Scull boats are a very interesting craft. They're not like your average everyday rowboat. First of all, they're barely wider than your torso, so when I'm sitting down in this boat, any movements to the side, okay, I'm gonna tip the boat. And I've never been in one of these before. Figuring out how the paddles kind of flip each other and move around. I was really unbalanced at the beginning, but you get that rhythm down, there we go, and you've got your balance set, you're starting to feel out the boat and the oars. It became fun to be able to row and get that rhythm in unison and just glide through the water like a knife cutting through a sheet. And that's how it's done. So hard to aim this thing when you're going backwards and all you can see is the slightest bit of your peripheral at the bow of the boat, but we made it to the island. I'm gonna get my gear out, pull out my GPS, and go find the next checkpoint. The Friends of TRYON Creek is an organization that strives to connect people with the living earth. The program acts as a steward of TRYON Creek State Park, so dads like Nick Sweeney can enjoy nature.
Having a park this close to where I live, in the middle of a metropolitan area, right between Portland and Lake Oswego, is amazing. One of the reasons why I moved to Oregon was because I felt like I could be a lot closer to nature than I could in the big city in California. And I want my kids to have as much of a love for being outside as I do.
Friends of TRYON Creek has preserved this 645-acre metropolitan park so new generations of outdoor enthusiasts can appreciate nature.
Well, I love that you can walk into, say, the center, and you don't hear a train. You hear a bird chirping. You don't smell gas fumes, you smell flowers. And that's really cool.
I go on a lot of different trails. Sometimes I find new trails that I have never been on. Lots of things live here, like birds and bees and butterflies.
I think the experience I want my kids to have with the outdoors is just having lots of opportunities to be outside, to develop that same appreciation for nature, the stewardship ethic, which I think has to be developed in children. I think it's more difficult if you're an adult and you've been in a city your whole life and never been outside. You're less likely to be able to enjoy the outdoors for what it is.
Got my clothes back on, and my next coordinate is 10 feet. Okay, I'm standing right on top of it. Nope, now we've passed it. That should be here. Well, anytime it says I'm standing right on top of it and I don't find it, means it's time to head up. Oh, there it is. It's right up here. Okay. Checkpoint 1. It says, "Nice work. Your adventure is going to take a lot of arm strength, so pace yourself. Remember to always search high and low for your next targets." And I've got 2 sets of coordinates. Very dynamic. Whew. I'm gonna plug this into my GPS. But first, I'm gonna get out of this tree.
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.
Closing in on my next set of coordinates. I'm about 300 yards away, but it should be right over here and on the other side of that mound. I've hiked about a mile from checkpoint 1. This next set of coordinates is dynamic and will likely lead me to some sort of vessel which will provide transportation to a second set of coordinates and to my second checkpoint. Okay, well, here is where my first coordinate is taking me. Looks like we're going supping. That's stand-up paddleboarding. This paddleboard is going to take me further along the Willamette River. My second checkpoint is just over 2 miles to the north and looks to be somewhere on the East Bank Esplanade. Got my gear stowed. I'm ready to go. I'm actually really glad I'm not getting back in the Skull boat, because I know this isn't exactly a boat, but this is a lot more stable, and I'm used to this. I've done this before. So my next checkpoint is 2.1 miles north of here. So I've got a little bit of paddling to do, but I'm fired up. It's a beautiful day for it. Being on a stand-up paddleboard is fun because it's like a surfboard, but it's so wide that it's easy to get your balance. And I know I was paddling up the Willamette River, but to me, I was going through the Amazon. The beauty of this area and the atmosphere of it was nothing like any rivers I've been on before. It just felt like I was going through a jungle looking for Tarzan, you know? It was so different. And then all of a sudden, you bust through this area and the city just explodes in front of you. It went from peaceful and quiet to instantly, I'm hearing construction sounds and cars, and I see bridges going over the river and buildings rising up out of the horizon. And it was just such a shock to go from this peaceful jungle-like setting to exploding into the city, and I'm surrounded by people and machines. Friends of Tryon Creek was originally formed to protect the land of Tryon Creek State Park. The park lands were threatened by urban development plans in the 1960s, and the Friends of Tryon Creek made it their mission to buy up the wilderness to preserve it. Now that the land is a protected state park, the Friends of Tryon Creek have turned their focus towards environmental education.
Years ago, our mission ultimately was to save this place. The place is saved. We don't have to save it anymore. So then really, what is our relevant mission? It's 2012. Today, what are the issues out there? And to us, the issues are, is that next generation going to care about the environment like we do?
Friends of Tryon Creek hosts numerous programs to teach kids about nature and to foster a sense of responsibility to the environment.
The education programs that we offer, nature day camps, a family nature club called the Muddy Boots Family Nature Club. You know, it's not always easy to know where to go or what to do, and so we want to really help facilitate that process.
Friends of Tryon Creek also holds overnight adventure camps for youth.
With our adventure camps, kids spend at least one day here, but then we also take them on field trips out into Mount Hood Wilderness or out to the coast or out to the Columbia River Gorge. Those trips are really about learning camping skills.
The overnight camp experience gives young people a strong connection to nature, but not all camp participants have the gear necessary to camp safely.
We have been able to scrounge together things to make it work for some of the kids who don't have their own gear through, my own personal gear or other staff members' personal gear.
For Friends of Tryon Creek, piecing sets of camping gear together is worth it to make sure young people can experience the outdoors.
Camping can be something fun for them, something they can do in an environmentally responsible way, and something that'll really provide them with the skills to continue learning and exploring and discovering things about this state.
Wow, the weather today is unbelievable. I was only about one bridge into Portland and just got drenched. And then wouldn't you know it, right as I'm nearing my next set of coordinates, it starts to clear up again. Welcome to Oregon. All right, well, I am close, so I'm gonna grab my gear, put my clothes back on, and head out to the next set.
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.
All right, feels really good to get some warm, dry clothes back on and get out of that wetsuit. And now, my next set of coordinates are just around the corner, about 100 yards this way. Let's go. Okay. Should be right over here somewhere. Yeah, it's here somewhere. Oh, right here, right here. There we go. Checkpoint 2, and it says, congratulations, use this key to access Portland's hidden history and to help you find your next checkpoint. And it's got one set of coordinates. All right, well, let's plug this thing in and go find something cool. My next set of coordinates will take me across the Willamette and approximately 1.5 miles to the northwest. My third checkpoint looks to be somewhere in the heart of Portland's Old Town. Okay. This should be it. Oh, haha, here it is. All right. And it says, below lies your next checkpoint. You're gonna need this flashlight and a lot of luck. Okay. And that's what this key unlocks.
Having day camps with knowledgeable teachers is really such a great resource for parents like me.
We are always trying to help connect the kids to the natural world, and specifically this place, the knowledge that kids come away with and how it just builds year after year is just incredible.
This is probably my favorite camp.
Some of the stuff that I learned at camp was like how to tell native plants from not native plants.
You know, having nature in our lives is essential, and there's no greater place to see that than here at TRYON Creek.
I know what this is. My cousins grew up here in Portland and told me all about these things. These are the old Shanghai tunnels. I guess back in the day, they used to kidnap people and take them through these underground passageways in Portland. And down here, my GPS is completely worthless. So, it looks like I'm on my own. I'm just gonna go find my next checkpoint. These underground tunnels were originally constructed in the 1800s, so businesses could transport goods to ships on the waterfront without encountering street and pedestrian traffic. According to legend, the tunnels eventually became a way of transporting slave labor to work on ships headed as far as the Orient. The stories that I was told were that, I guess, drunk people stumbling home from the bar would walk upon a trap door, and there'd be people waiting for them, and they would actually just wait for this drunk person to stumble onto the door, and then they would pull the trap door, the person would drop through, and then they're Shanghaied, hence the name Shanghai Tunnels. Man, I feel like my checkpoint could be anywhere down here. All I have is a flashlight. My GPS is reading 0. Nothing leading the way except for this maze of tunnels. And I've got to search through every room, in every nook and cranny until I finally find my checkpoint. Of course. Of course. It would be in the corner farthest at the back of the tunnels. Okay. This one says, checkpoint 3, nice job. Your transportation to your next set of coordinates leaves in 15 minutes. Meet on top of the building at 1st and Davis. You'll soon discover a historical geocaching location. You'd better hurry. And I've got 2 sets of coordinates. 15 minutes, okay. Leave this guy here. I gotta get up top, plug these into my GPS because I've got no satellite reception down here, and get a move on. 15 minutes, starting now. Got 3 minutes and 5 flights of stairs, and I do not want to miss my ride. And that's my ride, a helicopter. Made it just in the nick of time. My next set of coordinates are gonna take me 30 miles that way.
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.
I'm on the ground. I just plugged in my coordinates, and I've got to go upriver just a little bit. The helicopter transported me from Old Town Portland to the outskirts of Estacada, Oregon. I need to cover the remaining distance towards my next set of coordinates on foot. My 4th checkpoint looks to be approximately 3 miles away, somewhere along Fellows Road. With nightfall approaching and rain falling once again, I am aching to reach my 4th checkpoint soon. "75 feet. I'm so close. Okay. Right up here. Oh, right here. Right here. First geocache placed here. No way. The original stash. That's pretty cool. Final checkpoint. Mwah! Congratulations. You've made it to the world's first ever geocache. You're ending your adventure where it all started. Dave Ulmer buried the first geocache here 12 years ago, posted the new coordinates on the internet just to test his GPS, and a new outdoor activity was born. And here it is. Oh man. So this adventure ends basically where it all began. Only one thing left to do. Go get some cool stuff away. I finished my geocache adventure where the activity was born. Now, I just need to travel to TRYON Creek State Park to deliver my reward to the Friends of TRYON Creek. I just returned from Next Adventure after finding out exactly what Friends of TRYON Creek need to aid them with their program. So I'm here to meet up with Matthew, and he's got a group of kids, and he's taking them through their nature day camp right now. I got a surprise for them. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Are you Matthew?
I am.
I'm Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy. How's it
So,
going?
It's going really good. Now I know you guys are having a lot of fun right here, right? And you're learning a lot of cool stuff, but I got a surprise for you and I need you guys to come with me. You cool with that? All right, let's head over here. The surprise is just around the corner, but I don't want you guys to see it just yet. So, I've got some blindfolds here. Okay, now the Friends of TRYON Creek have been around for a really long time and they've made it so that everyone can enjoy this area. Now, they also have their program that you guys are taking part in, which is the Nature Day Camps. And you guys have some overnighters, but the gear that you guys use for the overnighters is pretty old. We know that you guys need some new gear. So take your blindfolds off. Next Adventure gave all of this gear for the program. We've got tents, we've got sleeping bags, sleeping pads, chairs, stoves, headlamps. All of this gear is for the overnight programs. All of this gear over here is for you guys, your own personal gear. Come on over here. The tents belong to you guys. The sleeping bags, this is your personal gear to use. When I connected with the crew from Friends of TRYON Creek, they told me that their biggest need was new gear. I mean, they take these kids out on the overnight trips, but all of the tents and the sleeping bags and the supplies that they take with them is really old. So what they needed was new stuff. This is the wildlife! Woo!
The Wildlife is presented by Next Adventure.